Welcome to our Spotlight On series, but with a twist this time, where we'll be talking to some of our very own brilliant employees about their career paths to date and what it's really like to work for Impression, all in the hopes of helping you to find the best place to transform your digital career. Welcome to today's Spotlight On session with a twist, where we have the lovely Lara with us, who is known at Impression for being the biggest Taylor Swift fan and also an absolute ray of positivity. Could you give us a little introduction to yourself, Lara, and a bit more about your role at Impression?
Yes, of course. First of all, thank you for having me here today. My name is Laura and I am from Germany. I've been working in the marketing industry for, I believe, 6 years now, but I've actually been at Impression for 2, so it's my anniversary this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Really great. I think a little bit more about myself. I actually studied a master's degree in communication science with a focus on digital marketing. The reason I did this is because I've done a placement before in marketing and it was amazing. I knew this was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, essentially. And I learned that really what I loved about it was all of the data and gathering the insights and then making strategic decisions on the back of it. But what I felt I was lacking a little bit, and that's why I went into my master's degree, was all of the fundamental psychological understanding of it. So I got to study consumer psychology, which was super fun. And then the role at Impression came up. So I'm a Senior Digital Strategist at Impression, sitting in the strategy team. And this role basically combines everything that I loved. So gathering insights, data, researching the market, but also really understanding what target audiences want and then creating big strategies on the back of that. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
What does a day in the life of your role at Impression look like?
So a day in the life, the first thing I do for sure is actually grab a cup of coffee.
I
feel like I always need that just to start the day off. The first thing I usually do is check performance, just take a look at our biggest clients and see, is everything on track? Is there everything that maybe is a little bit of a, like, not a red flag, that's the wrong word, more like, is it different to the day before and do we need to make any optimizations on the back of it? And then on the back of that, I speak with all of our clients and then also my colleagues who do all of the nitty gritty in the accounts. And then after that, I usually have a few meetings, which I personally love. It's really important to me to speak to my colleagues on the day in and day out. So that's one part of my role that I really enjoy. And then I also work on bigger projects, so more of like the strategy setting for the clients. So let's say they come to us and they say, I want to grow my revenue by 15%. It's then my job to go away and say, okay, actually, how can they achieve that? What are all of the factors influencing this in the market? So that's what I do on a day-to-day.
And why did you choose Impression and what makes you stay?
There is actually 3 key reasons I chose Impression. The first one for me was I've had some line managers and working experiences that weren't so great. And I really wanted to work in a business where everybody was fair and kind. And that was just something that I knew I wanted day in and day out. And that is my day at Impression every day. Everyone is so lovely and genuinely so fair in like the opportunities you get given. Another reason also was that I wanted to work really flexible. So being German, my family lives in Germany, it was really important to me that I could every now and then work from Germany if I wanted to, or maybe if there was an emergency and I needed to go back home, I just needed to know that's okay. And with our 90-day working from abroad policy, that was just perfect. And I flagged that in the interviews, and it was never an issue. And everybody was just like, yeah, no problem. Like you got this. And I think the other reason was a clear path to progression. I've worked really hard to get the foot in the door and get to a point where I feel like I have a career essentially. And it was important to me to know that wherever I go, that's supported and the training is available and that, it's never going to there's never going to be a reason to be like, actually, no, like you can't go any further with us. Those were the reasons that I really wanted to work for Impression. And I think the reasons I'm staying really is everyone is just so kind. And again, like fair, and the work environment is just so positive every single day. And even if there's sometimes something where like, maybe I'm not feeling 100% today, like at the end of the day, my colleagues always make it better. So maybe a bit cheesy, but it's true.
No, I loved all of that. That was lovely. Thank you for sharing. As you mentioned, German is your first language. So how have you found working at Impression as a non-native English speaker?
It's honestly been such a positive experience and also really rewarding. I was a bit nervous at first, just because the work experiences I've had before have all been German, but everyone was so positive when I started right at the beginning, and those little cultural differences that you see, everyone was basically just there for me to help me get over those. So it wasn't really like a language barrier or anything. It was just how to sign off emails so that they actually sound good and is like nice and positive, because what you learn in school isn't necessarily what it's like in the day-to-day. And I think what I've enjoyed about it the most is that everybody really made me feel like it's an enrichment to the business, and it's something positive that I'm not English, it's not a bad thing. And I get to work with clients who sit all over Europe and even get to use my German skills. Like, that's amazing. It really makes me feel like I can be who I am at work. So yes, just been so positive.
And what initiatives have stuck with you over time at Impression and made a real impact on you?
I think the biggest one is our recent women's mentoring program. This has made a huge impact on my working life, like my day-to-day at Impression, but also myself, and I feel like in general my career. It's been so amazing to get to speak to someone who has had multiple years in the industry, several work placements, and experienced lots of different situations that maybe I haven't come across yet. And I feel like it really made me a better person. And I also feel like I've learned so many invaluable skills, like how to phrase things that might be a little bit complicated, or how to really focus on my progression and setting goals and really getting there. And yeah, I think that was the biggest thing, and I've loved it so much. It's been really good.
That's so great. Well, thanks, Sarah, for joining us. And if you'd like to hear more about careers at Impression, then head to our website.